Welcome to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti. My guest this evening is Pattie, who is the administrator of Boobstock, which is a nonprofit organization who actually does a lot of good things and had a really successful fundraiser, from what I understand. Pattie, welcome. How are you?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on. I'm fine, thank you.
Thanks for coming down. So, Pattie, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and how the organization got started.
Okay. Well, I've been doing Boobstock's administrating since 2014.
Okay.
The first Boobstock was in 2013. It was the desire of my friend Margaret Rohner. She founded Boobstock.
Okay.
She was cured from breast cancer in 2012, and I helped her plan the first one, but I wasn't actually able to be there.
Okay.
But also in 2012, my mom passed away from breast cancer, so I was happy to help Margaret with the first fundraiser, and then tragically she was killed just a couple of months after the first Boobstock. So in her memory and in her honor, for her wish to pay it forward, we've been doing it every year since. During COVID, there was no formal mini music fest, but we still raised $6,000 in various other ways.
Oh, wow.
So you know, we try throughout the year. It's not, the mini music fest is the third Saturday in September every year.
Yep.
But we do other things throughout the year, auctions or rummage sale. I have merchandise for sale. Any way that I can think of to add to our total donation, I'll pursue it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, you said that you guys recently had your event for this year. How did it go?
It went fantastic. The weather was absolutely beautiful, and this year, for the first time, we had a poker run in memory of a local man named Dave Brown, who passed away from cancer last year.
Okay.
My cousin wanted to do a poker run in memory of Dave and decided that he wanted to add the money to Boobstock's donation. So
all right.
He had about 40 guys ride their bikes on a poker run, made, they started at the Sobieski Club, made 3 stops along the way, and ended at the Sobieski Club, and probably about half of them stayed for the music for the afternoon. And I definitely made up for it because I wasn't able to do any auctions this year, so it made up for, the money that I was raising previous years through auctions.
Absolutely. Now, during COVID, how did you guys do your fundraisers? Were they virtually done?
Some of them we did, I did some online sales, but also I bought some T-shirts to sell.
Yep.
My cousin and I made glow-in-the-dark pink beaded bracelets to sell. And the Sobieski Club had a fundraiser for themselves because obviously during COVID everybody was hurting.
Oh yeah.
So they had a band out in the backyard to raise money for themselves, but they let me do raffle baskets to raise money for Boobstock.
Okay.
Plus also a rummage sale that same day. So we were able to, we have such a generous community. Usually I have between 50 and 60 raffle prizes.
Yep.
So that, and that gives us a lot of income there. That's about, between ticket sales and raffle prizes are pretty close to even on the day of the event.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, as far as as far as the organization goes, you guys work pretty closely with, from what I understand, Smilo, Yale New Haven Hospital, Middlesex Hospital.
We are an authorized third-party event for both Smilo Cancer Hospital and Middlesex Cancer Center.
Okay. So
I work with the ladies in the philanthropy offices there, and let them know when I'm doing stuff and when when we make the donation, because I won't make the donation until December.
Right.
Because as of right now, I'm about $1,200 short of the money that I raised last year, and I always like to raise more the next year than I did the previous year.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And obviously they are, as far as the event goes, as far as fundraising goes, you guys are not, obviously every dollar counts.
Right. The money is used to go to at both hospitals. It goes to the place where women go to get turbans and wigs and camisoles, the kinds of accessories that are needed after treatments and surgery, that especially for women without any insurance who are from lower income, the inner city,
Right.
the areas around Yale, not so much Middletown. I'm not so sure that their areas are as big and widespread as,
Right.
and especially also there are so many things that insurance doesn't cover. So,
Oh, absolutely.
and when the ladies at the hospital told me that, because originally Margaret wanted the money to go for funding free mammograms because that's how she was diagnosed.
Yep.
And the ladies at both hospitals told me that there's federal funding for the free mammograms. So they asked me how else I would like to direct the money, and it was almost instantaneous. I thought of being at Middlesex Cancer Center with my mom, and also being at Smilo Signari Boutique with my friend Margaret when they received items that they couldn't afford. So it was a big relief to them to get something that they needed and not to have to worry about how they were going to have to pay for it.
Now, what is the Smilo Boutique that you referenced?
The Smilo Family Boutique is right inside Smilo Cancer Hospital, and it's a gift boutique, but they've also got medical necessities like after women have surgery for breast cancer, for mastectomies, they need to have drains, so they have specially made camisoles to hold with pockets to hold the drains, and all the other, the wigs and the turbans and the shawls, for keeping your head and your shoulders warm, going through through chemo and radiation really takes its toll. So they try to treat the whole body.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so obviously it's a very worthwhile organization, especially it sounds to me like it is a very worthwhile organization that you guys are involved with.
Yeah, it kind of feels more personal to me that the money actually goes to help patients rather than going into a pool for research or something other mysterious. It feels good to me to know that that's where it's serving people that are in need.
Now is Boobstock the premier fundraiser for you guys every year, or do you guys do little fundraisers throughout the year?
The main event is the Mini Music Fest, which is the third Saturday in September every year.
Okay.
And then throughout the years, things pop up. If somebody says to me, hey, I have this item I want to get rid of, do you want to auction it off? I'll say sure, and I'll run an online auction for a while. We do, this year we did the rummage sale in July, which I think will probably continue. It's in conjunction with the Sobieski Club's Christmas in July with the craft vendors.
Oh, okay.
And another avenue that's going on right now is another one of my cousins is holding a charity drive in Clinton. She's auctioning off Christmas trees that have been decorated. And she has 9 trees. Each one benefits a different charity, with Boobstock being one of them. So that's on Octria.com.
Okay.
Is the website for that. If anybody's interested on bidding on a white tree with beautiful pink ornaments, and it's just, if anybody wants to see, they're at 3 Liberty Street in Clinton. So there's a beautiful Christmas tree that's going to be that's going to be auctioned off for Boobstock. Last year, the person who won the auction donated it back so that we were able to run the auction again this year.
Really? So obviously the trees are up and people can go online, view them, and obviously bid. But I'm sure they can actually walk into the address on Liberty Street and actually view the trees.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're stunning.
Are they? Yeah.
Yeah, there are other charities there. I don't know all of them off the top of my head, but I know one of them is for the American Legion in Clinton, and another one is for agency that helps women escape from domestic violence. Another one is for helping people in Rwanda.
Rwanda,
Yeah, so so it's quite a sight to see.
Yeah, I actually had the, not this year, but last year they actually had the event, and I actually stopped by because I actually live in Clinton myself, and I live not too far from that address that you gave on Liberty Street. So I live around the corner. So my mom and I one afternoon, she's like, I want to go check out the trees. I'm like, what trees? She's like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. I'm like, sounds good to me. So we went and walked around and saw the trees and bid on the trees. And it was actually a really fun afternoon because I didn't realize that they did such an event like that.
Yeah, last year was the first one, so this is the second year doing it. And the bidding closes October 2nd, so it's a little bit shorter run this year, but yeah, they're still beautiful.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now, as far as, what is the Sobieski Club?
The Sobieski Club is a social club. It started out, Deep River had this, well, they still have the Scandinavian Club and also the Polish Club, the Sobieski Club. And it used to be years ago down the road, they also had a Polish Falcons Club in Iverton, but
really,
that's where the Fife and Drum Museum is now.
Gotcha.
Okay. So the Sobieski Club, started out as a men's only, and there's a plaque on the wall with a lot of ribbons from the different men that were in World War I and II. But it's just a social club now, and they do a lot of good for the community. They really have helped me a lot with Boobstock. They don't charge us for having it there. They're very accommodating, and the members volunteer making food and helping set up and clean up and cook, and it's very heartwarming to see how many people come together to help pull this off. I think I was telling you earlier, I consider myself an instigator in many means because there's only so much physically I can do.
Right.
And I've done volunteered for nonprofit organizations for a long time, so I sort of have a little bit of a background in fundraising. So I know how to instigate things. I send out letters to to businesses to ask for donations, and going into businesses and asking for raffle prizes. So it's become sort of like what I do, even though it's only once a year. I sort of have it going on.
Oh, absolutely.
12 months a year in some degree or another.
Absolutely. Would you mind sticking around for another segment?
Sure.
All right, we'll be right back.
Scammers are taking advantage of increased flight cancellations with a new con. Better Business Bureau Scam Tracker has received multiple reports of scammers creating fake airline ticket booking sites or customer service numbers to charge travelers for rescheduling fake flights. If you are buying airfare, use caution and double check the URL or phone number before providing your credit card information. In many cases, victims are finding out that the airlines don't even have a record of the flights they've booked on third-party sites. These scammers often tell the victims their flights have been canceled and offer to rebook them for a fee. If you come across a company you haven't dealt with before, look at bbb.org for reviews and feedback from previous customers. Confirm the URL before you enter personal and payment information. It can be easy to click on a sponsored ad or imposter website without even noticing. Be wary of third-party websites. Some websites appear to offer a legitimate service but are only fronts for a scam. Be suspicious of websites with no working customer service number or physical address. Make online purchases with your credit card so that you can dispute fraudulent charges.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Pete Mezzetti Show. I'm Pete Mezzetti, sitting here with Pattie, who is I guess I'm going to call you the instigator of Boobstock.
Instigator, that's where I start, yeah.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So Pattie, maybe if you can tell us a little bit about, yourself and how the event Boobstock got founded and a little bit more information.
Okay, it was founded in 2013 by my friend Margaret Rohner, and we've been doing it ever since, and even with when we couldn't have in person during COVID, we raised money in other ways. So and I can't really go any farther without mentioning the two other people that have been there since the beginning, which is Jack Adonti, who arranges for the bands.
Okay.
And actually came up with the name Boobstock. It was,
Okay.
he and Margaret were seeing each other when she had come up with the idea of doing this Muni Music Fest, and she said, what should I call it? And,
Yeah, right.
You know, when he said Boobstock, she cried because she was laughing so hard, thinking, you know, it was just the perfect name for,
Exactly.
the event. So, and the other person is Linda Johnson, who has been on the committee, is now also my co-administrator, and she keeps my raffle prizes in order. And I had some health crises going on, well, not really crises in the last couple of years, but I've been easily distracted, and so she's helped keep me in line when I haven't been feeling at my best.
Right, exactly. So as far as Boobstock this year, let's maybe do a recap of how it went and what people saw when they came to the event on the day.
Yeah, it was a beautiful day. For us, the morning started out with the poker run.
Yeah.
And I think it was between 30 and 40 motorcycles left that morning. So It was, you know, kind of a busy morning for us. We had all of the raffle prizes. We have about 60 raffle prizes that were set up inside because we didn't want to leave them out in the sun from 8:30 in the morning until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that was one of the things. We moved them outside in between. The 5 bands were really, really good. We had Harper and Owens and Bruce Thorndike and Someone You Can X-Ray, the Gatekeepers, and Smoke Bubbles.
All right.
So we had a lot of great music, a lot of dancing, you know, a lot of just friendship, and we had some flea market vendors there for people to peruse different wares. So there was, you know, and a couple kids dancing around, which is always fun to see.
Absolutely.
And you know, lots of food. We have hamburgers and hot dogs and chicken and all kinds of picnic food that goes on for the day.
Cool.
And then the highlight, probably, well, not the highlight, but one of the nice ways that the evening ends is because it's Deep River Day. They have fireworks down at John Winthrop Junior High School.
Really?
Which, as long as the trees don't get much taller, you can see from the field across the street from the Sobieski
cool.
Club. So it's kind of like a finale to the day for us.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So when is the event? It's always in September?
It's always the 3rd Saturday in September,
Okay.
which coincides with Deep River Day. And it's kind of ironic. When I picked the 3rd Saturday in September, I went along with the theme in Deep River. The 3rd Saturday in July is the muster. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to do my music thing on the 3rd Saturday in September.
Right.
So, you know, I like the 3rd Saturday rhythm, so that stuck it with me. It worked out to be Deep River Day too, so that was an added bonus. For
That's what it is.
The first 3 years we held it in October.
Okay.
And it wasn't bad the first year when I wasn't there, but the 2 years following that, it was hurricane season. It was wet. It was wet and windy and cold and miserable. And when I moved it from the Swede Club to the Sobieski Club, I decided that's what I moved it to the 3rd Saturday in September because I'm like, okay, I need to go to a better weather prospect.
Yeah.
You know, and even now, I mean, the last 2 weekends have been kind of dicey, but you know, Boobstock, the day of Boobstock was just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, speaking from experience covering events and being at events for different nonprofit organizations, an event in the pouring rain, no fun.
No fun.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and the first year we did it outside, and the second year we did it inside because it was too nasty, too windy and cold and raw.
Yeah, no, it's no fun at all. Hey, we were talking in the first segment, and I want to circle back and talk about it now. Something about trees in the town of Clinton.
Yes, my cousin who lives at 3 Liberty Street in Clinton is having a called the Trees of Kindness. She's decorated 9 different Christmas trees, beautifully, meticulously, gorgeous ornaments, all kinds of time and effort put into decorating these trees. and each one is being auctioned off to benefit a different charity.
Yep.
With Boobstock being one of those charities.
Nice.
So she has a white tree with beautiful pink ornaments, and it's gorgeous. And the site for that is octria.com/trees of kindness.
Okay.
And it's also, if you go to Boobstock's Facebook page, the website's on there if anybody wants to bid on the trees or to see the various trees, to get the link for the auction website.
Yeah. I was going to say, and if you're not paying attention or have nothing else to write it down to, I can put a link on it from my site, and
Okay.
People can go there and get all the information on the trees project.
Yeah, it's really gorgeous. I mean, if you drive by at night, you can see the trees all lit up in the window. They're really pretty.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't driven by at night. Usually, if I'm going that way, it's during the day.
Yeah.
I don't think. So as far as, let's talk about the idea of the organization, how it got started, and maybe how you guys work with the different hospitals locally.
Well, the idea got started. My friend Margaret was cured, and she wanted to do something to pay it forward. And she loved loud music, rock and roll. She was, that was her thing.
That was her.
So she decided to have this mini musical festival, and Jack named it Boobstock. And then, I work with the ladies in the philanthropy office at the hospitals.
Yep.
As far as they provide, the Middlesex provides like little tchotchkes for me to hand out. And,
Yep.
they're very appreciative of the donation we make every year. And it was really kind of surprising to me during COVID, most fundraisers just didn't happen.
No.
And, in my thinking, I know that cancer didn't stop for COVID, and that there was as much need as ever, if not more, because there's such a delay in appointment times during COVID. Well, even still now, but during COVID especially, it was taking so much longer for diagnostic testing to be done. So I knew that the need was as big as ever. So I didn't let them stop me from raising money. It was I was determined to continue paying it forward.
Absolutely.
To honor Margaret's wishes.
Absolutely. And you guys obviously raise money and raise donations all year round, even though Boobstock is in September. Obviously, it's an ongoing yearly.
Anything I can come up with that I think can help add to the total, I do. And, Liberty Bank was great. They let me set up a donation account. So if anybody wants to make a donation to Boobstock, they can either take it to Liberty Bank or mail it to Liberty Bank, made out to Boobstock, and the money goes straight into our account. So
Really?
yeah, that, it's nice. It was nice for them to set that up for me that way, because splitting it between the two hospitals, it was hard to keep the money, separated. So this way, it's in the one bank account, and at the end, when I go in December, I leave $25 or $50 in there just to keep the account open, and then the rest of it goes to the hospitals.
And that's any Liberty Bank locally, or is it
Any Liberty Bank.
Wow.
Yeah, under the account name Boobstock.
Wow, that's very cool and very generous of them being, especially a community bank,
Right.
because they're just they're a great community partner with the organization.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, what are some of the other fundraisers that you guys do throughout the year?
We do the rummage sale in July, and then usually I've auctioned off various things. There's one man who's had offered to let us auction off plane rides. He flies a Cessna, so he's taking people up for flights.
Oh, cool.
Another time we had, it was a giant gas stove that the Sobieski Club had bought, but they didn't have purpose for, so I auctioned that off.
Oh, there you go.
We had a member at the Sobieski Club who worked at a marina, so a couple of years we had boat engines to auction off.
Oh, cool.
It's very, anything that somebody comes to me and says, hey, I have this, do you want it to auction off for Boobstock?
Sure.
Last year I had somebody gave me 12 fishing poles. Some of them were antique classics, as well as 3 brand new hunting ladders that were still in the box.
Wow.
You know, yeah. So it's really kind of, people come to me and have things
Right.
they want to give, and I'll say, okay, you know, I'll do the auction and put it up on Facebook and ask people to spread the word as much as they, because Facebook is my only social media. I'm not
Right.
in tune with
No.
Instagram or Twitter. I have no idea how to use any of those programs or apps. So,
Yeah.
so you know, I try my best to get the word out there as best I can.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And if people want more information, they can go to the website. And what types of information can they find on the site?
Important information, things to know about the event, because it's at a small private social club. The parking is kind of limited, so we ask people to carpool and bring blankets and chairs, because there's, you know, seating is kind of like a natural amphitheater. The stage
Right.
is downhill from the hill, well, it goes uphill, and so people sit on their chair, you know, bring picnic chairs and blankets and sit there and enjoy the music. And something else I should probably mention is that alcohol has to be purchased there. In other words, you can't bring your own
You're
alcohol.
not no BYO.
Right,
Can't
no,
bring your
because
own.
it's good. There's a permit on the property.
Yep.
Any alcohol consumed has to come from the liquor permit.
Cool.
So,
Pattie from Boobstock, thanks for some time, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
okay, thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. On behalf of Pattie, I'm Pete Mezzetti. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.